Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm Rose Megaruler 31. This is going to be another speculation video just because the race tonight or whenever you're watching this on Friday is going to be at 9 p.m. So practice is at like 3:35, qualifying is at 4:05. So that means that we won't have the lineups until about 5 o'clock, and then when they attack and everything and figure out who's going to the back, like everything won't be probably official till like 6 o'clock. So it gives you a 3-hour window, which isn't horrible, but with my work schedule and trying to get baseball content and stuff out, it would be impossible to try to get an actual video, so I apologize for it. But one thing I'd like to announce is that we are going to try an NFL video, so that should be coming up sometime this weekend, so stay tuned for that. If you subscribe to our channel, you will be able to know when that's coming out, because it will be in your feed, or you can set the notification that a new video is dropped from FSI, and boom, there you go. So we have Kansas Speedway, the second race here. So where it says day is actually should be race one results, the actual finish. Now, the numbers that are in red means that it was the truck that finished here, but not the same driver. So not too bad. There's not picked up a couple of lesser drivers in here this week. There's a lot of ARCA people running. All three series are here too, so you think that like more like Cup or Xfinity people would drop down, but that's just not the case, because I think maybe they're more focused in on the playoffs, and maybe they're not allowed to because it is a cutoff race here. So as you look at the colors of the drivers here, Majeski and Enfinger have won races, so they are already into the next round, locked in. No issues, they're going to the next round. So we dropped two drivers here, where like in Cup, and some of the other ones, they dropped 4 drivers per round, but they only dropped 2, so it's down to like 8. And then they'll do 3 more races, and then so there's only 4 more truck races this season, and then the fourth one obviously being the championship at Phoenix. So Enfinger and Majeski are locked in. So they have a 50% chance of making it to the finals, because like they take half the field. So the ones in green here, Heim and Hosefar, definitely have a ton of points, and they should be, and Eckes also, they should be locked in, no issues. Zane Smith is 29 points. If he has a bad race, potentially he could get knocked out. I don't think he will. I mean, he's a really good driver, but we did see 4 really good trucks that are out front on a restart take each other out, and in this race in the spring. So I mean, that potentially can happen this track or any track. So I'm not writing him off. I don't think he's a lock-in, but I think the battle is going to be between Crafton, Rhodes, and Sanchez, and they Crafton's 9 points to the good, Sanchez is 3 points to the good, and Ben Rhodes is 3 points under. Matt DiBenedetto is -20, so he's got a lot of help. He needs like probably 2 of those 3 guys in yellow, or Zane Smith to wreck or have a bad day, and he needs to have a good day himself. So that's where we are for the playoffs. So let's look at this here. It is an intermediate track. Tire wear is not horrible. Probably the most comparable track is Michigan, but they don't run Michigan anymore, so we really don't have that. They haven't run it since like 20 or 21. So Las Vegas is a good one. They ran that early in the season. Auto Club is, but I didn't really look at that because of the tire wear. So we had Charlotte, and we've had Texas. So I think and we've had this track already this season. So I think we've got a lot of good things to look at here. So it's going to be 134 laps. So there are some fast laps and down points up. So last time Eckes had the pole, and there's nothing that, even though he finished 30th, because remember, again, he and Purdy and forget who else was in the wreck up there. It might have been Majeski, but anyways, and DiBenedetto was definitely in that wreck. So like they all got into that wreck. But if you take out his average running position at Kansas, because he probably tried to fix the truck and that weighed him down here, but he was doing good before that. He had the pole, was doing well. He's number one overall in composite on track style average. He has the second best behind Nicholas Sanchez. So everything is telling me no matter where Christian Eckes starts, lock him in here. Again, even though he has, you know, enough to get into next round, and he'll probably be going for stage points and stuff, I think if he just goes for the win, that'll just give him even more points to help push him forward to make it to the championship 4. So Eckes, really like him, prime play, unless he looks horrible in practice or something like that. Jack Woods, Kyle Busch was in this truck and put it on the outside pole, so I don't think Wood was qualified that much. Like his DK projection is really low just because of that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he'll probably qualify. He might qualify further than we want him to. That's why I'm his GPP play. His average is like 19th. So if he doesn't qualify in the top 20, then play him in cash. If he does qualify anywhere between 20 and 10, consider him in GPP. If he qualifies in the top 10, I don't know. I think it's kind of risky. Might be a fade there. Chase Purdy, same thing. He's a little bit better, 16th. So I think you're looking at the same thing, but he was running really strong here before that wreck. So I think, if you take the 19 out there, like you have a 15, a 9.4, and a 10.3. So I think he does decent on these tracks. He's raced here 6 races. He only has one top 10, but his average finish is 20th on the track. So just take that in consideration. Jake Garcia's had a great year here. So he didn't unfortunately make the playoffs like Sanchez did, but I think he's definitely going to have a strong truck. He's looked good and, probably has a great future here. He finished 8th last time out. And he hasn't been bad. Like he ranks in the top 10 for average. So, it all depends on where he qualifies. If he should be able to hold his position up here. I like him at 7,700 for a cash play. I think he's solid no matter where he starts. I think, he'll be good for you. Ben Rhodes to GPP. I know he's got a lot to do to try to make the cut, but I think he could be conservative, and he's had some issues this year. His average finish here is 12th. Like in all the races, 11 here, he hasn't won any. He only has 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s. So he's a good veteran driver, but unless he starts way back in the field, I think he's going to be GPP. Nicholas Sanchez, I'm going to give the other prime tag to. I think he's going to be aggressive here. He's always run well. Texas, he pretty much dominated that race. Vegas was early on. So I just kind of want to write that one off, but all things considered, he comes back third. He finished 6th here last time after starting 6th, and I just think that he is going to have a really good day. So I'm going to give him the second prime tag. Zane Smith. It's like Chandler Smith and Zane Smith morphed together. Zane Smith here. Pricing's a little high here. It all depends on where he qualifies and how he does in practice here. Finished 3rd last time after starting 7th. Obviously, besides Charlotte, he's been really solid in this. Comes back number 2, but I think I'd rather just pay for Eckes with him. But again, I think he might be one that tends to be a little bit conservative just because he's got enough points there and got a cushion. He just needs to go out there and not lose it. And I think that might be their approach to it. So we'll see. They should bring a fast truck. Should be. And obviously he avoided the chaos last time and had a good race. So always a good play for cash, but I can't necessarily give him the prime play. So who's next? Tanner Gray. He's just declined this year. His brother's definitely over taken him. Tanner used to be so solid, just pricing down like 6,700. So I think it's a GPP. Finished 18th last time after starting 8th, so he lost 10 places. And if you look at his average finish is about like 16th, so I mean that's about on par. So if he starts outside the top 20 again, I think the same thing as I said with, I think it was like Purdy and Woods, he's playable. And that's what you really want to look, is like this average here. So just kind of take a screenshot and make note of this. Like if you can't get the information after everything's put in for projection and stuff, that's fine. Just look at the average. And if the driver, if you like them, if they start below their average, then there's potential place differential there. If they start above their average by like 5 positions, they're in the GPP range. But if they're starting way above their average, then they start to become the fade range. That's just my rule of thumb for you. Ty Majeski, I'm giving a cash here. Like, he's been in good form both races in the playoffs. I know he had the penalty, but the penalty isn't going to affect him, so it's the perfect place to get a penalty. But he had to do the pass through last week and actually climbed up the field and did decent. So he was, I think he was maybe involved in that wreck after starting 9th and ending up 25th. But 7th overall, I think he's a cash play, along with Smith. He's a good driver, and he was just not getting it done. But then towards the end of the year, he just started to turn it on, and put things together. So I think his form's good. So that's why I look him in cash. Daniel Jai is a GPP. Horrible race at Texas. The other ones were okay. This was probably his best race out of them, finishing 13th. So, but his average is like 20th. So maybe if he starts below top 20, consider him. Grant Enfinger is going to be my third prime play here. Won the race last time, started 11th, 5th overall in this package. So he won last week. He's in good form. I know he's already he's playing with house money because he's already advanced, but he can still, if he continues to do well, those points might come into play in the next round. If you only have 3 more races, and if you have like multiple winners that aren't in the playoffs because you're only down to 8 drivers, then points are going to become very important. And I think this is a good opportunity for him to continue to add to the point total to try to make sure he secures the spot in the final 4. Heim is a cash play also. It's a good truck. He's a good driver. 4th overall with everything. His track average is a little bit low, but that's pulled in some of his data from last year. He's been much better this year. 3 races here, 14th overall finish, but he's finished every single race. 2 top 10s. So 1 bad race, we just kind of write that off. He finished 2nd last time. So again, price is expensive, and it's going to be a tough choice when you build your lineup. If you put my primes in there, I don't think you're going to be able to get one of these other cash plays that I have in there, Smith, Majeski, and Heim. Maybe you throw all them in GPP if you can find enough good value. But I think this is a decent player pool, so you just have to see how they qualify and how they practice and make the decision. Kruth, 34th last time. I think he got into an incident. 20th overall average. GPP here. Friesen has been, even though he finished 4th last time, he's been okay this. He just hasn't had a great season. Didn't make the playoffs. GPP for me. Colby Howard finished 35th. Probably the worst race out of this. I think you can consider him in a GPP. I think people, if they look at the box score and like, wow, I finished 36 after like qualifying 15th and lost 20 DK points, that looks really bad. But if you look at the other numbers, if you take out this 24 here, like that raises his average to, I mean, it's still 20.6, but it raises him it raises him like 1 place. So, it's not that bad. He's probably a top 20 truck. If he qualifies outside of top 20, I think that's, the ceiling he has. Haley Deegan's just been an enigma this year. Like, when we finally think she's got it, then she doesn't. And then when we finally written her off, then she performs well. 12th in the spring after starting 16th. Probably her best track out of these intermediates. So in GPP, if she fits less, she's your last driver in cash, then I don't hate it. But again, it's just been a roller coaster ride with her. Bailey Curry, she's in a 41 truck. This is the same truck that Ross Chastain's raced here. Uh, it's a solid truck. He's been a good driver too, like a lot of experience in Xfinity. So 4 races here, 50% DNF rate in truck, but his Xfinity numbers have been out much better here. So not like elite, but solid. So I like him in cash at 8K if you can get to him. DiBenedetto, GPP, I don't know. He's got a lot to do to get in here. Could be desperate. I think it's great GPP play if they're swinging for the fences to try to throw the Hail Mary. But sometimes when you throw the Hail Mary, like it leads to an interception or bad things when you get that desperate. He's been up and down on these different tracks here. Nothing really pops to me. And he decided this week that he's not returning to this team. So I don't know how much support they're going to throw behind him. So I just proceed with caution with that one. Taylor Gray, like I said, like him better than his brother. Started 19th, 10th place differential points, finished 9th. I don't know why he didn't have a Vegas run here, but overall, he's looked really good this season, constantly improving, playing with house money, not playing for the playoffs or anything. So definitely think that and this tri-car garage has really done really well this year. So really like him here. Hocevar, I mean, he's always in play also. He didn't qualify well, but then he was able to make it up to that lead pack and then got into it with DiBenedetto and Eckes and Purdy, and they all crashed. And that was a horrible race, but dominated in Charlotte, a similar race. Texas was okay, ran really well in Vegas, and I think really wants to try to win this championship because he should be locked in on points. You don't have to worry about that, but wants to try to improve his position, like I said, with like Eckes and some of these other ones. So because he's probably going to move up to Xfinity or maybe get like a bid for Cup next year. We'll have to see what happens with him, but I think he really wants to try to win a championship before he moves on. Crafton, GPP here. Again, he's another veteran like Rhodes that has a lot of experience. I mean, he's got a ton of experience. 26 races here, 3 wins, 14 top 10s. I mean, he's had a ton of success, but this season just hasn't been great. There have been times where he's been good. He's been bad. This intermediate tracks just haven't been really great for him. 12th overall average, but his average running positions aren't great. They're like right around 15th. So if he qualifies in a top 10, unless he looks like he was like outstanding and blazing fast in practice, I don't know. I'm probably going to be a pass. But if he's usually a guy that has a lot of place differential, and usually it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know. Not enough floor from each GPP. Dean Thomas, I think he can be a good cash play. Got into a wreck here early in Kansas, but Charlotte just really showed like what he could do. He had an outstanding race in Charlotte. And even in Texas and Vegas, his average running position was like 11.7 and 15.3. I know his track average is bad. He's had some wrecks and stuff. 3 races here. He didn't finish one, but the other 2. And the 25th, I think, was weighed down by finishing almost dead last in the spring race. But the composite's 21.4. So at 6,300, I think this is a decent cash play to try to get some of those higher priced guys in your lineup. Ankram's a GPP. I finished 10th here after starting 23rd, so that looked good. But all the other intermediate tracks, he was just kind of average. I mean, he was in the top 20. So if he qualifies outside of the top 20, then he's definitely in play. Jesse Love, I can put in cash here. This Tricon truck is like outstanding. Brenninger, Tori ran it in the spring race and finished 15th. His average, he hasn't run many truck races. I think he has 1, and his average running position was like 16th. So, but he's very good in Xfinity, or not Xfinity, in ARCA. So, and his Tricon team is really good. And it's got a good crew and everything. So I think it's a young ARCA driver that's really going to probably be like somebody that look for in like 24 or 25, but I think you can definitely be in playing cash in 73. Caden Honeycutt, GPP, nothing really pops here. The truck's not that great. Jake Drew gets the Hattori truck. Again, same situation as Jesse Love. I like the equipment. I like the driver. I like the situation. Doesn't have a ton of experience to rely on, but I think there's a lot of upside there. And there's actually a decent savings here of 800 if you take Drew over Love. Spencer Davis, the GPP, Roper Racing, like the truck, I mean, he finished 19th, which is pretty much kind of a miracle. But I mean, he's not a bad driver, but the equipment just kind of scares me. So GPP. Brett Holmes, I think you can look at cash here. He went from 28th to 14th, so that's 14 place differential points. Even though his average running position, if you take out Vegas, it's like 22, 23, 20.6 is what the composite average comes out as. That's not bad. So he usually qualifies in the low 20s and gets you like 8 or 9 place differential points. 5,300, sign me up. That's what I need to finish out my lineup. Maggio, he's in the AM Racing. He was finished 27th here in the 33, which is like a rough truck. That's really not that great. Really doesn't have speed. So this A&M one is the Tommy Joe Martin one. I think there's some upside here. Couldn't quite get to him in cash, but I think definitely a GPP. Timmy Hill, same thing. I like it when he starts in the low 30s because he usually is a truck that makes it through the attrition and everything. Should finish on the lead lap and not too far down. Van Alst, don't really like this truck. He was a mid-range ARCA driver, not a great ARCA driver. One race, average running position, 34th in trucks, so not interested. Justin S. Carroll, same thing. I mean, some of these guys might even qualify if there weren't just 36 trucks in the field. So everybody is going to qualify because you don't have more trucks than qualifying positions. But if Carroll, he might not qualify. Chase Janes, again, is another decent ARCA driver, but he's in this 33 Room Brothers, and that it's just not been a great truck this year. There's been tech issues, breakdowns, and stuff. So he's probably the closest one that I call to a sleeper and maybe more of a GPP, but just the truck I just have as a fade. Lawless Allen, I think, is sandwiched in this group here. I think we have the most data on him, and I feel like if you look at his numbers, his average running position is 23rd compared to our finish 23rd compared to all these other ones that are the low 20s to 30. Jennifer Joe Cobb is just not a good truck driver, and Spencer Boyd, the equipment, and I just don't know if he makes it for the full race. So that's what I got for you. And again, it's just sorry, it's like don't have the real full data for you, but if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRotor31 on Twitter. And if you want more information on FSI DFS, or if you want to stay, like our weekend package is only like $5, so you get all 3 races. Xfinity is going to be the same thing with speculation video. Just $5 gets you all the cores and all the updated sheets and everything and all the information. One on coaching help in the Discord, all that stuff. Really cheap. So there's that option there for you. So if you these videos help you, then you've already helped by watching to this point. So you can help us back by liking, subscribing to our channel, and sharing with your friends. And hopefully you enjoyed the commercial-free weekend that we provided for you. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great weekend. MegaRotor31, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'll see you next time.